everyone, good morning. You're watching Market Fatafat right here on ET Now. I'm Mubina Kapasi. The show promises to spot all the big movers and shakers today in trade. Markets, meantime, well, taking a bit of a quietish stance, but it looks like we have gone deeper in the red. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, we are at the day's low. Just pull up the intraday chart for the Nifty. 11,822 is where we are perched at. So after clocking in the worst day of 2019 yesterday, it looks like we are extending the losses. It's another 80 odd points gone for the Sensex as well. Broader markets too have slipped further rather into the red zone. But of course, like I said, the show is all about individual stocks and movers and shakers. For that, and to identify those, we are joined by Soumya Sharma, ET Now's in-house research analyst. On the technicals, we have with us Kunal Bothra, and in a short while from now, we are going to be joined by Swati Hotkar of Nirmal Bang. So good morning to all of you. Thank you for joining in. And of course, Soumya, the big news maker for today is the India Bulls Group, in an effort essentially to go ahead with that merger with LVB to get the RBI approval. They've taken a very important step to sell off their realty business.
Yes, this is something that's been doing the round since morning, and India Bulls is actually selling their realty business to Blackstone and Embassy JV. So together they both will be buying close to about 15% stake in India Bulls Realty Estate. This is the chairman's shareholding which the company will be taking. Gehlot actually owns close to about 39% entire stake in India Bulls Realty, and even today 12.8% of India Bulls Realty were traded in a multiple block deals. In fact, the official announcement is yet to come on the exchanges, but the company has been confirming it to the news, to all of us. So that's what the India Bulls Real Estate is in focus for, higher by over 0.3%.
Well, it's completely off the day's high, no doubt, but yeah, still managing to just about hold on to some of those gains, only 1/3% higher. In that light, actually, I just request my producer to pull up a Lakshmi Vilas Bank, because like I said, these steps that are being taken by the India Bulls Group is all in an effort to get the RBI approval for IB Housing and LVB's merger. The contentious point was, of course, IB Housing stake holding in IB Real. So that is something now that the IB Group is trying to get out of the way to obtain that RBI approval. In light of that, look at LVB, locked in upper circuit, from the morning trading session, 74 rupees now on LVB. Okay, continuing with the countdown then, and Kunal, it's interesting to see that Tata Global has been very strong. In fact, even the day when FMCG stocks were all down in the dumps, bout of profit booking over there, Tata Global continued to stay strong. Your view here?
So it seems like, Mubina, that there is more of an institutional demand, coming to the stock, because, the behavior of the stock has just about changed completely. It doesn't participate in on days when the markets are extremely volatile. It's charting its own territory on the upside. You see the volume patterns as well, and just that decisively indicates that the stock, has more room to head on the upside. And with such, strong demand, on the institutional side, especially looking at the delivery data, the volumes, the open interest, setup, previous expiry as well as start of this expiry, I think it just about indicates that this momentum should continue for Tata Global. So I maintain that buy which I had initiated last week on Tata Global, revising the targets to almost 265, and stop loss could be taken to 250 for a fresh buy at current levels.
Okay, so that's the recommendation coming in on a Tata Global. Kunal believes the stock is on a strong uptrend. Reliance Industries, meantime, is among the big Nifty losers in trade. Here is an ET Now exclusive. Sources are suggesting that the RIL Aramco refinery deal is now facing hiccups. In fact, the key contentious point at this point seems to be with respect to valuations that perhaps Aramco is not exactly pleased with. This, of course, is something that we broke to you earlier in the day. Remember that RL and Saudi Aramco had initiated stake sale talks. Talks were on to sell up to 25% stake in the Jamnagar refinery. This essentially so that RIL can cut its debt, because the FY19 debt stood at a mammoth $45 billion. So that is something that certainly did cause RIL to consider cutting down debt. Sale of Jamnagar refinery stake is something that was on their cards, but it looks like it's facing a roadblock. 1.5% gone for RIL at the day's low. Swati, it's interesting. I think, has Swati Hotkar been able to join us now? Okay, I think we have Swati with us. Hi Swati, let's go across to you. And Vedanta and all of these metal stocks are showing a good bounce. In fact, I don't know when was the last time we even saw a close to 2% rise in Vedanta. What would you make of this move?
See, Mubina, as of now, the Vedanta doesn't look that much attractive on the charts because the fact is that it's facing a very strong resistance of its 50 and 100-day moving average, which comes to nearly 172 levels. If we look the longer horizon from the 2018 itself, the stock is in the correction mode, not showing any sign of a strong reversal on the technical patterns. As of now, it is facing a strong resistance of 172. If it manages to give a breakout of that level, then it might lead a rally towards its 200-day moving average, which comes to at around 180, 190 levels. As of now, my view is cautious. The immediate support lies at 158. So those who are having any long positions, they can hold on, maintain the stop loss of a 158 on the downside for an immediate bounce back rally up to 172 and 180 levels on the upside.
Alright, so it's a possibility of seeing 172 rupees on Vedanta. That's what Swati believes. Okay, meantime, V-Guard Industries is something Kunal is flagging off. And Kunal, what makes you optimistic on this stock?
So just look at the last, one and a half month of price trajectory for V-Guard. And I think from, those levels of 200-day moving average, which I think on spot levels is at 210, 212. I think from those levels, it's just about moved one way higher. The stock is at a fresh swing high, and more importantly, rather than the short-term chart patterns, look at the weekly and the monthly setup for V-Guard. It's confirming a break of many weekly resistances on the price patterns. There is an inverse head and shoulder pattern on the weekly and the monthly time frame, and that's a very strong and a potent formation for the stock price. So I believe V-Guard should be looked into at current levels. I believe even if you are a momentum trader and looking to enter the stock at current levels of 245 odd, I believe there could be an upside of almost 10 to 12 rupees from current levels, 255 plus as a target, and stop loss to be kept at 240 for a fresh entry.
Okay, V-Guard Industries is higher by approximately 2.7%, and a target of 255 is what Kunal has. Eros International, look at the way the stock continues to tank. It's another double-digit decline witnessed in the stock price. Well, attempting a recovery from those levels, but yeah, the last time I checked, it was down almost about 13%, and now it's down by 8%. Do remember that yesterday too, the stock was, I think, locked in lower circuit for the most part of the trading session, and this after CARE has cut the long-term loan facility ratings to a D or a default on the back of the fear that Eros may delay its debt servicing or its debt repayments on the long-term loans that it has taken. And on the back of that, you are seeing a continued decline come by on this media major. It's now at just a level of 48 rupees. So in just a matter of these last three trading sessions, it's raised almost 20 rupees. Massive fall seen in Eros International in trade today. Swati, today, the pharma stocks seem to be the big victims, but it's not just a solitary move today. For the last couple of sessions, we have seen pharma stocks really take a beating. What would you recommend on a DRL, which is seeing a lot of action on the F&O side as well?
Yes, Mubina, as of now, DRL it just broke its 200-day moving average. From the last few years, it was just trading above that levels, but it manages to give a breakdown of that level. Now we need to look whether it manages to give a closing below that level. Then yes, definitely the selling pressure is likely to be intensified in the coming 1 to 2 days, and which might take a stocks towards at least 2520 to 2480 levels on the downside. Whereas on a higher level, 2640 is acting as a very strong resistance levels. So at the current level, I am initiating a short call at the current levels with a stop loss of a 2640 on a higher side, and I am looking for a target of a 2520 and 2480 on the downside.
Okay, that's a clear sell coming in on DRL. 2520 is where Swati expects the stock could go. Soumya, what's causing this decline to come by in Manappuram Finance?
Well, yes, this is one stock that's been declining. In fact, today morning it was losing so much, but now right now it's actually off from the day's low and is losing at about 3.8%. Well, the company discussed some unpublished price-sensitive information during its conference call to the market participants somewhere around March 2013, while not definitely disclosing it to the exchanges. As a result, the company has been charged of insider trading and has violated insider trading norms, code of corporate disclosure and listing arrangements, and even due to this, SEBI has issued show cause notices to 5 asset management companies for alleged breach of insider trading regulations, and the stock hence is under pressure today, down by about 3.5% right now.
All right, that's Manappuram Finance for you. Apollo Hospitals, meantime, has certainly seen decent gains come in, especially after its fourth quarter numbers, post which brokerages as well were very optimistic. That continues in today's trading session as well. Kunal, your view?
Look at the complete change of view for the stock, post the results which came out I think last week, Wednesday or Thursday if I'm not wrong. The stock has just about changed its way the behavior was. Now it's confirming a big breakout and a big I think almost a 1.5 year breakout on the weekly time frame charts. It's an inverse head and shoulder breakout, but more predominantly it's been backed by strong fundamental news. The volumes have changed completely. The trend and the trajectory of the stock has also changed for Apollo Hospital, and which is why I believe that this should be a stock which should be a strong buy on dips candidate. Whether you buy it on momentum, and if you get a dip of 4-5% and the stock comes back to the mean or retracement levels, I think that's a very good entry point for Apollo Hospital. Would suggest a buy with even 1425 to 1440 as a potential target range over the next couple of weeks.
Okay, that's Apollo Hospitals, and yeah, that's what Kunal is flagging off over there. Sagar Cement, meantime, and take a look at the way the stock has moved. In fact, in the earlier part of the day, it saw gains to the tune of almost about 3.5%. Went down a little, but it's back in action again, 2.6% higher at 679. This on the back of the stellar sale and production numbers that the company has reported for the month of May. In fact, the consolidated production stood at around 2.77 lakh MTs. That's a growth of 12.9%, and the sales as well did very well, 13.3% uptick over there at 2.75 lakh MT. So not bad numbers at all at a time when cement companies have hiked prices, or rather had higher prices. It's only now that they have cut prices in North and South India. But yeah, despite that, we have seen great numbers in production in terms of sales as well for Sagar Cement. So I think that's pretty credible, and the stock is higher by 2.6%. So I think, the entire India Bulls group is buzzing, and how in trade. Yesterday, we saw that massive decline come by in IB housing, and the volatility in NBFCs does continue. So what do you believe traders should do now that we are seeing a bounce in IB housing?
See, yeah, definitely, Mubina, we have seen some bounce back rally in this particular counter, but also we have seen that it's facing a very strong resistance of its 200-day moving average, which comes to at around 815, 810 levels. If we look towards on the technical harmonic pattern, then it is just forming the CD leg of a bad pattern. So I believe we might see some downside on this particular stock, which might take a stock towards 710, 720 levels. Also, the fact that it is just trading, if we look towards the weekly chart, it is trading in the low top, slow bottom formation. So I believe that one should take a short positions at the current level, because it's facing a very strong resistance of 775 levels. So one can create a short position at the current level, maintain the stop loss of 775. I'm looking a stock which might come down to potential target of 710 and 720 levels on the downside.
Cut sell on India Bulls housing. Well, Samya, DHFL continues to decline in trade.
Well, yes, in fact, third straight session when the stock's falling. After the rating downgrades, the stock has fallen by more than 20% since the company's commercial papers were downgraded to default by both CRISIL and the other rating agency. That's the reason. In fact, today even the stock's falling by over 7.1%. They missed their interest payments, and that's what keeping the entire banking and financial space on jitters and anxious as far as what's going to pan out once this is all done, and if DHFL will be able to do the stake sale and make the due payments or not.
Well, yeah, the street certainly is very spooked when it comes to DHFL, and especially post that ratings downgrade, which do continue for its papers. Okay, Gujarat Gas, and the reason why we are flagging this one off is because we have seen a nice upward trend come in on the stock price for the last, I think, 2 odd weeks. The last 2 days, however, did see a bout of profit booking coming in, which caused the stock, in fact, to dip sub the 180 rupees. But take a look at the way the move we have seen in today's trading session. It's a nice 2.3% uptick, which has caused the stock price to yet again move about 183 rupees, rebounding after 2 days of losses. In fact, all these gas-based stocks, IGL, Gujarat Gas, MGL, have been moving in tandem and have seen great moves come by. Today as well, it's a day that Gujarat Gas yet again resumes its uptick. And Samya, what's the news when it comes to Markson's Pharma?
Well, they've received, the Goa plant has received establishment inspection report from US FDA after they concluded the entire inspection, which was conducted between February 25 and March 6th. As a result of this, the stock seeing some certain amount of uptick, although often the day's high, it's still gaining close to about 2% today in trade.
Okay, quick breather right here on Market Fatafat. Do come right back. We'll continue with the countdown. Welcome back. You're watching Market Fatafat right here on ET. Now, let's continue with the countdown then. And Edelweiss Finance is something we have on our radar. Look at the way the stock has fallen, almost a 4% fall seen. And it continues, after the carnage we saw, yesterday in the NBFCs today, and Edelweiss is again down 3.8%. Credit Suisse has interestingly said that they are seeing volatility in flows to debt mutual funds, and they're unlikely to raise funds from the debt market. This is the reason why they're advising to be cautious on Edelweiss, on two other names as well, but Edelweiss certainly does figure on their list, and 3.8% gone for this one. Swati, today I suppose due to their entire boost on account of the India Bulls realty deal, I suppose a lot of these realty names are seeing a nice up move in trade. Godrej Properties is one of them. Your recommendation here?
See, as of now, the Godrej Property is hovering near its 50 days moving average. If we look towards the daily chart, then it is on the verge of making an inverse head and shoulder pattern, and as of now, it's just forming the right shoulder. I believe 840, 850 will be acting as a strong shoulders of this particular pattern, and we might see some rally, bounce back rally towards 900 and 920 levels. So those who are having any long positions, they can definitely hold on, as I believe that this potential rally is likely to be continued towards 920, 900 levels, whereas the support is placed at 840. So those who are having any long positions, they can hold on with a stop loss of 840 levels for immediate target of 900 and 920 levels.
So there you have it. That's Godrej Properties, a nice 3% uptick, and Swati believes it can go all the way to 900 rupees. So Amya, what does Citi have to say on CESC?
Well, Citi, they're maintaining a buy stance, but at the same time they've increased the price target to 895 per share from 871 per share. Well, they believe that Dhariwal losses have reduced significantly in FY19, and going forward, the next focus area for the company and the management would be the distribution business. In fact, at the same time, they've also hiked the EPS estimates by over 12 to 18% over FY20 to 21 to factor in the latest trends. However, the stocks are gaining marginally by over 1%, or actually to be precise 0.8%, but today it was gaining higher by this, but it's off from the day's high.
Okay, CESC is now just gaining about 0.8%, given off most of those gains. And Kunal, we were talking about realty. You have DLF, on your radar.
So it's an interesting chart, Mubina, because from 158 levels, just I think a week before the election results came out, from 158 levels to 200, such a sharp recovery you've seen into the stock. It's a high beta stock, so a recovery of almost more than 20-25% from those kind of lows, and now the stock has gone into a consolidation. So if you look at the charts, just on the 3 or 4 days of price pattern, it indicates that the support of 180, 185 is a very strong support zone for DLF. And looking at the setup just before that, for sharp rally, I would expect that the breakout post consolidation should be on the upside. So as a technical trader, would recommend a buy on DLF if it comes back to a strong support zone of 185 levels.
Okay, that's DLF currently at 191 rupees, by 0.4%. Like we said, the entire realty space today is buzzing away. Okay, Deepak Fertilizer, some of the last few companies that have actually delivered their fourth quarter numbers. Interestingly, today Edelweiss has a report on this one. They have a buy here with a target at 138 rupees. Yes, they did say that it has been a disappointing fourth quarter. The company suffered a loss in the fertilizer business owing to high input prices. Chemicals, however, remained stable despite the muted growth. But they do believe that there is a high risk nature of this investment opportunity, but management has the ability to face these rough times and deliver long-term value. The fact that there's a strategic reduction in the trading volumes in the chemical business as well has helped in reduction of short-term debt. That's a right step that the company has taken towards reducing leverage in their view. Deepak Fertilizer is high by approximately 1.2%. Swati, today Voltas is seeing some significant action on the F&O side. What would you recommend over here?
Yes, so overall today the Voltas has given a breakout of 605 level, which was the immediate resistance level it was facing from the last few days. The breakout was given along with the volume, so which is a very good sign on the technical part. Also the fact that the stock has given a breakout of the downward sloping trend line, the momentum indicators such as the RSI showing a positive crossovers. So overall view, or this, we can say the setup on the technical part is definitely positive on this particular counter. So one can take a long positions at the current level. I believe that the stock will be continue this rally towards 620 levels, and one can keep a stop loss of a 590 levels on the downside.
All right, that's a buy coming in on a Voltas in trade. Soumya, very interesting piece from Wipro. After 51 years, Azim Premji is now stepping down.
Well, yes, he's stepping down and is retiring as the executive chairman and MD on July 30. In fact, he's been appointed as non-executive director effective from June 31st for next 5 years. CEO Neem Chuwala would be given the additional responsibility of holding the management, managing of role of the MD from July 31st. And apart from this, they've also named Rishad Premji as the executive chairman for the company. So there's a management change here after Azim Premji has retired after 53 years of chairmanship. Stocks, however, gaining by marginally over 0.8%.
Okay, stock number 23 then. And Kunal, what is it that you're witnessing in L&T? I mean, definitely we've seen this stock too gain quite a lot in the last couple of days. Today, however, it's taking it a bit easy.
So yeah, taking a bit easy. Yesterday also the stock was under some bit of selling pressure. I think it came off from 1570 levels to almost 1510, 1512. Where it's currently trading, but today on the candlestick pattern it's forming a bullish hammer pattern. So the stock closes just about marginally in the positive. It's down 0.27% right now. So even if it closes marginally positive or flattish, it could confirm this bullish hammer pattern, which generally has an effect or a shelf life of almost 1 to 2 days, and that indicates that the stock may see some bit of an upside traction. So as just a pure BTST play, or maybe 1 day more than that, I think L&T could be bought into if this pattern gets confirmed by closer to day end for a target of 1560 and stop loss at today's low of 1495.
All right, that's L&T. It's a third of a percent down. Adani Enterprises, meantime, and look at the way that stock is cracking. It's down by approximately 3% in trade. Yesterday, the company announced that it had created an additional pledge of almost about 0.5% stake in the company that is being held by the Gautam Adani Family Trust. Simultaneously, they've also released a pledge of a smaller quantum of shares of almost about 45.9 lakh shares. That has been released, but after all the give and take, the stock is down 3%. Swati can't get a rise of these metal stocks, and Jindal Steel too is seeing quite a lot of action today in trade. What would you recommend?
See, Bubina, the overall view on this particular sector or on the Jindal Steel and Power has been on a sideways. If we look towards the last 4-5 days data also, the stock is got stuck into within the range of a 163 to 165 levels. I'm just waiting for the breakout on the higher side of 163 levels. So once it manages to give a breakout of 163 levels along with the volumes, then definitely we like to see some pullback rally in this particular counter, which might take a stock towards its 200-day moving average, which comes to at around 175-170 levels. So at the current level, I will be just stay cautious. I will just initiate a buy call only above 163 levels for a target of a 175, and one can keep a stop loss for 155 levels on the downside.
All right, there you have it. That's Jindal Steel. Now it's in fact higher only by 1%, but yeah, Swati does have a buy. On that note, unfortunately, we are completely out of time. So Swati, thank you for joining in, sharing your technical strategies. Kunal and Soumya, to you as well. Coming up next is Markets at Noon.